Oh, you were right.
I don't know how Aaron checks behind that. I mean, Mike's not going to call anyway, but the way the hand played out, it's like, I don't know how you check that. Yeah, if I'm in Vegas sometimes, I will play for a couple hours. Like, let's say I've got dinner plans or something. I have no problem jumping down there because I actually don't mind at all because a lot of times tourists are in there all days, all nights. You know, it doesn't make a difference what time you play. I personally prefer playing at night. I think one of the reasons why is I live in Los Angeles and it's gorgeous here, so I just hate being inside. I'd rather be outside in the sun. But yeah, I mean, I don't really, it doesn't really bother me anyway. I mean, when I was propping, I was playing, you know, when I was propping, I was pretty much propping 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. And I like those hours. Those are good hours for me. You know, sometimes I'll play after the show. I'll go play. Sometimes I'll come before the show and I'll play.
You tell me what I should have done when?
Oh, it's all good.
Aaron is asking Bart to analyze his last hand for him.
You're like exactly 4 or 5. And then when you check the river, you still put them on?
Yeah, they're talking about checking the river. They're all talking about him checking the river, which is just an odd play. I can understand, obviously, just calling the turn. Because if Mike has 4 or 5, obviously, you're drawing slim. You need the board to pair.
Basically 110.
So 55 raise from Aaron with pocket jacks. Adam with 10s makes it 110, so min raises it.
Kind of a limit hold'em play, isn't it?
Now, actually, no, I'm wrong. Aaron didn't make it 55. He just called PT's raise of 55 with ace-queen.
Yeah.
So Bart limbed in with 8s. PT made it 55 with ace-queen. Aaron just called with jacks. Adam made it 110 with 10s. 4-way action in 110 pre-flop pot.
Yeah, the pot is now $460 with the blinds. 10, 8, 5, and we got a set over set.
Bart is in trouble.
Yeah. Adam's got top set. Bart's got second set. Oh, it's a tough situation. And Adam's fairly deep.
And Adam is Adam, so it's not something that's going to be easy for Bart to get away from.
In a raised pot, he 3-bet it. He 3-bet. There's no way. Bart shouldn't get away from this hand. Remember, Adam 3-bet it. He could easily have aces or kings here.
And Bart was the first to call 3-bet cold with his 8s, obviously to hit a set, so he's not going to give this up now that he has.
Fred, can we get a shot of how many chips that Adam has? I think he's got Bart covered. There's the check raise. We know it's going to fold around to Adam.
15.
I think Aaron's going to lay down jacks down. Look, Aaron lays the jacks down great. I got to give Aaron some credit tonight. He is playing some poker tonight. I still hate the check behind with the 6s, but he's playing some poker.
395 more.
Oh, man.
395 more.
We're going to try to, I don't think this one needs too much commentary, so let's hear the table. I believe Bart has him covered. I believe Adam has Bart covered. Adam taking his time.
Wow, and he goes all in. And Bart instantly calls. And Bart ran into it here. Turn is a deuce of diamonds. River is a queen of spades. And that's all she wrote. Bart lost set over set.
And it's just one of those spots.
Tough situations and no limit. Nothing you can do.
Yeah, Well, I mean, there are times where you can lay down a set. You know, there are times where you can lay down bottom set against certain players. But against this particular player, in this particular situation, the way this hand played out, you got a raise from Bart. You got a 3-bet from a player on the button. I mean, you're never folding.
I was almost drawing that.
No, I said you're drawing. I did. He did. He said you're drawing.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought. I don't know. I just think so. I think sometimes good players who aren't yet really, really good players, but they have an understanding of the game and they understand what they're trying to do. Sometimes they kind of outthink themselves.
I'll agree with that.
This is crazy. I think you and I are agreeing way too much tonight.
Usually we agree to disagree.
I know. Aaron raises, takes down. So we got about 15 minutes left in tonight's show. Gives me a chance to remind you, Friday night we've got a great show in store. I will be in the booth with Bart Hanson. Nicole's taking a break. She'll be in Vegas. But the game, $25.50, 10K buy-in. Each player will be at least 200 big blinds deep. And the action will be intense. Make sure you are here Friday night, 7:30 p.m. If you have any questions for Bart or I, you can tweet us actually over the next couple of days. I'll write them down, and we'll bring in the best questions for the show. You can also email the show at live@thebike@gmail.com, but tweeting us is probably the best way to get to Bart or I.
$50 raise from Bart with pocket eights.
Yeah, he's got his favorite hand.
Is it 50 or 25, actually? 25.
And smooth call from Fred with jacks, and he's hit a set. How about a check behind and an 8 comes off on the turn? Ugh.
Not a bad flop, though, for Bart to bet. I wouldn't be surprised if he does.
Not.
And what will Fred do? And then look at Neil. Neil thinking about betting into the field with 6 high.
We've seen this before from Jazz.
Not today.
The great thing about betting into Fred is, you know Fred's not going to float generally. And the good thing about it for Bart is Bart knows he's done with the hand unless he hits an 8. Talk about reverse implied odds. I mean, the board is completely dry. Jack 5-5. He knows he's behind.
So he bet 100 on the flop. Fred called. King on the turn. Now Bart might be thinking he can possibly use this.
Well, that's the thing, exactly. He thinks maybe Fred's got like a hand like Ace-Jack or Queen-Jack, and maybe he can represent with the king. Little does he know that Fred's pretty much got the stone-cold nuts. Don't send a million tweets in there. I know it's not the nuts.
Here's situations where it's not terrible to just call because you're playing against a strong opponent who will easily fold when you raise.
If I'm Fred, I'm calling this every single day. I don't care what Bart has.
And then we say, well, hey, but what about building the pot? Blah blah blah. You hope he has 5. Blah blah blah. But Bart specifically has to have a 5 or are basically kings here. Otherwise, when you raise, he's going to fold it, and we're probably going to see it right here. Fred makes it 300 more.
Bart would fold aces here. Bart would fold ace-king here. Bart pretty much would fold any hand short of a 5.
And again, this is only because this
pocket kings.
Yep.
Or maybe something like, I'm trying to think of like a two-way draw he picked up, like ace-10 of clubs, if he were deep enough and Fred were deep enough, but they're not.
And we're saying this because this is Fred, specifically Fred against Bart. 2 tight, aggressive players.
Exactly.
This is one time where, yeah, even though you have a huge hand, you may not want to just be in there, bet. Let him hang himself a little bit.
Nicole, once again, I agree with you 100%. It's a shocker, but no, you're 100% correct, because Bart, you're going to get Bart to fold pocket aces here.
But now Bart's going to prove us wrong. Look at us! Are
you kidding me, Bart?
Bart, what are you doing? Oh, boy. So now all that analysis that we just said, just throw it out the window.
I got to tell no,
just
seriously.
Throw it right out the window.
I don't know what Bart's thinking, but
Step on it, pee on it. What are you doing, Bart? This is Fred. You think Fred's making a move on you?
Yeah, I don't. Really? I've seen Fred make I've seen Fred's all in.
And Bart's an insta-muck.
The funny thing is, I think Fred kind of sighed. I think Fred thought maybe Bart had kings. You know what I mean? He sighed for a second and goes, wow, you have pocket kings? He goes, well, if you got pocket kings, you got pocket kings. And Fred's all in.
That'll be another one. Add it to the list of what you talk about with Bart.
Honestly, we've seen Fred make moves where, let's say he had queen 10 of clubs on that board. But Fred doesn't take one off if he has queen 10 of clubs.